Hi everyone, Benjamin Bryant here from Bryant McKinnon Lawyers, and I'm sitting next to my partner in crime, Heather McKinnon.
Hello, Heather.
We are here to spruik episode 42 of our podcast, The Family Matters Show. I am back from Egypt. Thank you for holding the fort with Gemma while I was away, Heather. And I understand that you're going to the UK in a few weeks.
Not that you're worried about that.
Okay.
I'm taking some annual leave and long service leave, 5 weeks. It'll be enjoyable.
It'll be great. But we still have podcasts to do. We'll just have to figure out what we're going to do without you. Like I said, we're here to talk about episode 42, and that was good old community questions. It's been a while since we've done a community questions episode, so we thought it's about time. We'll get into it. So thank you for sending through your questions. That was some good ones. That was some really good ones. The first one that we talked about, Heather, is that this whole misconception with the 12-month period. People think they're married, they need to get divorced, 12 months, do a property settlement. And we cleared that misconception right up, yeah?
Yeah, it's one of the biggest myths. So basically, when you separate, you can start talking about your settlement straight away.
Yeah.
Most people actually negotiate their settlement within about 3 to 6 months of separating. So we talk about that and make sure everyone's aware that no, you don't have to wait a year to get your finances sorted.
If you're married, you do have to wait for the divorce, but you don't have to wait to do your property settlement. I think that's basically it, but we find ourselves saying that every single day.
Yeah.
We also had a question about, seeking advice about a 15-year-old child, the parenting arrangements for a 15-year-old, and you gave some pretty clear advices on that, Heather, about your views on 15-year-olds.
15-year-olds, pretty self-determinant, but we talk about that concept of when a child's mature enough to direct their own life, basically.
Yeah, and another thing we spoke about, Heather, was schooling, the decision and parental responsibility, about education and what school. We had a poor listener being faced with the decision of a boarding school in the Gold Coast and how a court figures that out. So it can be very difficult. So if you have an issue about schooling and who makes those decisions and how to resolve it, check out the podcast. And finally, Heather, I just wanted to chat a little bit about when we spoke about one of the questions being the people wanting to get information or tips about what to do before separation, how they, any pre-planning they can do. And I had some advices there, but regardless of what planning you do, you have to walk off the precipice, but you gave some good advice as well.
Yeah, we talk a lot about risk assessment, which is our role really at separation, making sure that you're safe.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty good summary of episode 42. I'm looking forward to episode 43, which we'll both be here for. We'll also be joined by Dr. Manvelian, who is a psychologist from the US, and she is an expert in helping people separate. So that is someone that we need to talk to, and that's someone you'll hear from, and so that'll be a great show. So look forward to episode 43. You can find this podcast at our website, bryantmckinnon.com.au, or you can catch it on wherever you get your podcasts from. It's The Family Matters Show. If you have any questions for Dr. Manvelian about separation and how to make that process easier, feel free to send us a message, and we'll talk to you soon.